You have been waiting inside this body since long before it was born. Every egg cell a person will ever carry was formed before their birth. No new ones are ever made during the whole of that person's lifetime. You are not something created fresh each month for a single brief chance. Instead, you have existed in a frozen, suspended state for many quiet years. Deep inside the ovary, you paused halfway through a division you never completed. That frozen state can last 10, 20, 30, or even more full years. No other cell in the body waits patiently for anywhere near that long. For years, you simply waited there, holding your unfinished genetic work in place. Around you sat thousands of other resting egg cells, each one quietly waiting too. Only a tiny fraction of them would ever get a real chance. Most of them would never be chosen, and would slowly fade away over time. This natural loss happens quietly throughout a person's entire life without any notice. Out of hundreds of thousands present at birth, only a few hundred ever release. You are also one of the largest single cells in the entire human body. You are enormous compared to the sperm cells that will eventually race toward you. A single sperm is tiny, stripped down, and built almost entirely for fast swimming. You carry something completely different because you hold the resources for a new life. Inside you sit nutrients, machinery, and instructions that an early embryo will urgently need. The sperm brings genetic material, but you bring nearly everything else that is required. Think of the sperm as a messenger, and yourself as the entire home. For this reason, you were never designed to travel far or move very quickly. Everything valuable about you is stored inside, not spent on rushing anywhere fast. Your role was never about speed, and it was never about winning any race. Then one day, powerful hormones surge through the body and select you specifically. The tiny sac holding you begins swelling with fluid as the signal grows stronger. This fluid-filled sac is called a follicle, and it protects you carefully. Around you, supporting cells multiply and surround you in a soft protective cloud. That cloud is called the cumulus, and it will travel outward alongside you. Then the sac reaches its limit, ruptures gently, and releases you from the ovary. This exact moment is ovulation, the event so many people talk about constantly. It usually happens once each cycle, releasing a single egg from one ovary. You drift free, no longer locked inside the ovary that held you for years. Waiting nearby are delicate finger-like structures reaching softly from the fallopian tube. These structures are called fimbriae, and they sweep across the surface of the ovary. Their gentle motion creates currents that guide you toward the opening of the tube. You never swim or steer yourself because these currents do all the moving. Being carried this way is normal, and it costs you no precious energy. You are drawn inside, entering the long, narrow passage where fertilization usually happens. Tiny hairs lining that passage beat gently, nudging you slowly along its inner walls. This tube is not just a corridor, but the actual meeting place ahead. Now a strict and unforgiving clock begins counting down the hours you have left. You remain capable of being fertilized for only about 12 to 24 hours. After that narrow window closes, your chance disappears and your journey quietly ends. So everything that matters must now happen inside this short and demanding time frame. If no sperm arrives in time, your long wait simply ends without event. Far away, near the cervix, an enormous crowd of sperm has already arrived. Hundreds of millions began that journey, but the female body filters them ruthlessly. The vast majority are eliminated within the first stretch of that difficult path. Most sperm die in the acidic environment long before reaching anywhere near you. Others get lost, swim the wrong way, or simply run out of usable energy. The journey toward you is long, confusing, and hostile at almost every stage. By the time any reach you, only a few hundred remain from millions. This filtering is not an accident, and it is certainly not a random process. The body is quietly testing which sperm are strong enough to even arrive. Only the healthiest and most capable ones survive that brutal filtering journey upward. You are not a helpless prize sitting passively at the end of their journey. You are the final and most important checkpoint in this entire demanding selection. Nothing about this process treats you as a passive reward to be claimed. Surrounding you is that cumulus cloud, the first barrier any sperm must cross. The arriving sperm must push and wriggle through this thick layer of cells. Many of them exhaust themselves completely here and never reach the surface beneath. The cumulus acts as one more test, thinning the crowd even further still. Beneath the cumulus lies a tougher, thicker shell wrapped completely around your surface. This shell is called the zona pellucida, and it is far more than protection. The zona pellucida is a chemical gatekeeper that decides which sperm may proceed. Its surface carries specific molecules that act almost like a biological lock and key. Only a sperm with the correct key can bind and trigger the next step. This matching system helps ensure that sperm from the wrong species cannot fertilize you. It is a chemical checkpoint written directly into the molecules on your surface. When a compatible sperm finally binds, a small chemical package on its head reacts. That reaction releases enzymes which begin digesting a narrow tunnel through the zona. This chemical package on the sperm head is prepared for this exact moment. Without that reaction, no sperm could ever break through your protective outer shell. The sperm drives forward, powered by its tail, pushing steadily toward your membrane. This final stretch is exhausting, and many sperms still fail at this very stage. Even after tunneling begins, only one will actually complete the crossing successfully. But eventually, one single sperm reaches the surface of your outer cell membrane. The membranes of you and that one sperm touch, and then slowly begin fusing. At that instant, the sperm stops swimming because its long journey is finally complete. Its genetic cargo is now pulled gently inward, drawn into your waiting interior. The tail and outer parts are left behind, no longer needed at all. And here is where your most remarkable and underappreciated ability suddenly takes over. The moment one sperm fuses, you must immediately block every other sperm nearby. If two sperm entered you, the resulting embryo would carry fatal genetic errors. Having double the genetic material almost always makes survival completely impossible afterward. This is why blocking extra sperm is one of your most vital duties. So you act instantly, launching a defense that unfolds within just a few seconds. A powerful wave of calcium sweeps across your entire interior almost at once. This calcium signal is the switch that activates everything happening next inside you. That wave triggers thousands of tiny packages sitting just beneath your outer membrane. These packages are called cortical granules, and they release their contents outward rapidly. They have waited just beneath your surface for exactly this critical moment. Their contents chemically transform the zona pellucida wrapped around your outer surface. The once welcoming shell hardens, and its binding sites are permanently switched off. What was once an open doorway becomes a locked and sealed barrier instantly. Suddenly, no other sperm can bind, tunnel through, or reach your membrane again. Every remaining sperm outside is now locked out, and their journey ends right there. This rapid defense is called the block to polyspermy, and it is astonishing. Few events in the whole body happen this quickly or this decisively anywhere. In seconds, you transformed from an open target into a sealed and finished cell. You were never the passive prize that older stories so often described you as. You were the gatekeeper, the selector, and the final decision maker the entire time. Older textbooks got this backwards, casting you as a trophy rather than a chooser. Now, with one sperm safely inside, you finally finish the work you paused. Remember that division you suspended for years while waiting quietly inside the ovary? Only now do you complete it, pushing out a small, unneeded packet of chromosomes. This discarded packet is called a polar body, and it carries no future role. With that step finished, your own genetic contribution is finally fully prepared inside. Half of the new person's instructions now sit ready within your vast interior. Your chromosomes gather into a structure now called the female pronucleus within you. The sperm's chromosomes form a matching structure known as the male pronucleus too. Each pronucleus holds exactly half of the instructions needed for a new person. These two pronuclei slowly drift toward each other across your vast internal space. They approach carefully, carrying the complete genetic instructions from two entirely separate people. Everything about the future person's traits is being decided in this quiet meeting. Then the two sets of chromosomes finally meet and combine into one single set. That complete set now contains everything needed to build an entire human being. At that precise moment, you are no longer simply an egg waiting for something. You have become a zygote, the very first cell of an entirely new human. From this one cell, a complete body will slowly and carefully take shape. Every future cell in that person will descend directly from this single starting point. Skin, bone, blood, and brain all trace back to this one original cell. The nutrients, machinery, and instructions you carried for years will now finally be used. Soon this single cell will divide, then divide again, beginning the long path forward. Within days it becomes a tiny ball traveling onward toward the waiting womb. But none of that would ever have been possible without your patient, active role. You were never waiting helplessly for a winner to arrive and claim his prize. You waited for decades, selected carefully, defended fiercely, and completed the process yourself. At every important step, the outcome depended on your action, not just theirs. The sperm may have traveled far, but you controlled almost every crucial decision made. The real story of conception has always belonged mostly to you all along. Somewhere right now, this exact process is quietly beginning inside another human body. A cell that waited a lifetime is finally becoming the start of everything new. And it was never the passive one, but the quiet force behind it all.